One of the greatest investors of all time, a guy who managed billions and consistently crushed the market, built his entire philosophy on one single, really shocking piece of advice. Today, we're jumping into One Up on Wall Street by the legend himself, Peter Lynch. And his message is pretty simple. The pros? They might not have the edge you think they do. In fact, you might have an edge over them.
And there it is, rule number one. From one of the greatest professionals to ever do it, the advice is stop listening to professionals. I mean, it's a wild paradox, right? The ultimate expert telling you to just tune out all the other so-called experts. So that really is the million-dollar question we're tackling. Why on earth would he say that? It's not some kind of trick. It's because he genuinely believed that you, the average person, you have a secret weapon, an advantage that Wall Street analysts sitting in their fancy offices simply do not have. And the answer to that question lies in something we can call the Wall Street paradox. Okay, here's the absolute heart of it. This is Lynch's entire philosophy in a nutshell. He argues that your everyday life, what you buy, the industry you work in, even your hobbies, gives you a massive head start. You see trends taking off at the mall or in your office or in your neighborhood way before they ever show up on some Wall Street analyst spreadsheet. And this everyday advantage is your secret map to finding what Lynch famously called a 10-bagger. That's an investment that grows to 10 times its original price. Yeah, 10 times. We're talking about the kind of stock that can single-handedly transform your entire portfolio. And the craziest part? They're often boring, easy-to-understand companies you probably walk past every single day. But what does this everyday edge actually look like in practice? Let's break down what makes the amateur's advantage so real. This slide just captures the difference perfectly. Think about a fund manager, all tangled up in bureaucracy and rules. But as an individual, you're free. You can invest only in what you truly get. You don't have to own 500 different stocks or try to justify buying shares in your favorite coffee shop to a whole committee. You're nimble, you're independent, and believe me, that freedom from institutional groupthink is your superpower. And this is how it works in real life. Lynch's best ideas didn't come from a fancy algorithm. He famously invested in Hanes because his wife loved their legs pantyhose. He invested in Taco Bell just because he saw these massive lines on a road trip. Your research begins with your own eyes and ears, not some complicated financial model. But hey, even the master isn't perfect. Lynch famously admitted he completely missed the Amazon 10-bagger. And why? Because he was so focused on physical brick-and-mortar stores that he kind of overlooked the whole cyberspace revolution. It's such a powerful reminder. Invest in what you know doesn't mean ignore what you don't. It means you have to stay curious and actually do the research when you see the world changing around you. Okay, so you've spotted a promising company. What do you do next? Well, Lynch provides this brilliantly simple framework for your initial research that he calls the 2-minute drill. The heart of this drill is the company's story. And we're not talking about a fairy tale here. It's the simple, plain English reason why this company is going to make more money in the future. Are they opening new stores? Are they cutting costs? Have they created a product that everyone wants? You need to be able to explain the plot. The drill itself is just 3 simple steps. 1, state your case. That's the story we just talked about. 2, categorize it, and we'll get to that next. And 3, check the numbers. And look, you don't need to be an accountant. Just take a quick look to see if sales are going up and that they're not buried in debt. It's a sanity check, not a deep dive. All right, now for that second step, which is absolutely critical. Lynch insists you have to categorize your companies. You need to know what it is you own to know what you should expect from it. So, Lynch breaks every company into one of 6 categories. First, you've got the slow growers. Think big, reliable utility companies. Then the stalwarts, giants like Coca-Cola that are still growing steadily. The exciting ones are the fast growers. This is where you hunt for those 10-baggers. Cyclicals, like automakers, they boom and bust with the economy, so timing is everything. Turnarounds are the comeback kids, beaten down stocks that might just recover. And finally, asset plays, companies with hidden treasures on their balance sheets. The key takeaway? Knowing the category tells you the why behind your investment, and it signals when it might be time to sell. But remember, investing isn't a one-time decision. Lynch compares it to an endless stud poker hand. A fast grower can mature into a stalwart, and a stalwart can eventually become a slow grower. You have to keep checking in to see if the story has changed, if the company has moved into a new category. So after you've done your research, Lynch leaves us with one final, deceptively simple test. This is your ultimate check for clarity.
And this might be the most valuable lesson in the entire book. Can you explain why you own this stock to a fifth grader? If you can't, you probably don't understand it well enough yourself. This simple rule just cuts through all the Wall Street jargon and forces you right back to the core story. If you can pass the fifth grader test, you're on solid ground. So let's wrap this all up. What are the big takeaways from Peter Lynch? Invest in what you know. Forget about predicting the economy. Remember, you are buying a piece of a business, not a lottery ticket. And never get emotional about it. The stock does not know you own it. Ultimately, Lynch's message is all about empowerment. The knowledge is already right there in your hands. You just have to trust yourself enough to use it.